So you're planning your first trip to Japan. Amazing choice. It's an exciting and completely unique place, but it can feel overwhelming if you don't know what to expect.
We've been twice, first for 10 days, then again for 3 weeks, and looking back at our first trip, there were so many things that we wished we had known beforehand.
That's why we're breaking down 25 practical tips to help you feel more prepared before your flight. From things to save you time and money to cultural do's and don'ts, we're covering everything we wish we had known from day one. Let's get into it.
Let's start at the beginning before you even board the plane. Go to Visit Japan web and fill out your immigration and customs info ahead of time. It only takes a few minutes and it's going to save you a lot of time once you land. It's going to ask you for basic stuff like your passport info, flight details, purpose of your trip, etc. And at the end, you'll get a QR code.
If you're traveling with family, each person gets their own QR code. But don't worry, you only have to submit one entry per family. When you land in Japan, you'll show immigration your passport and your QR code, and that's it. Depending on when you arrive, the lines can get really long, like 1 to 2 hours long. So you want to make sure you have this done.
Having it done is going to save you a ton of precious minutes, and trust me, you don't want to be that person that's still filling out forms in the corner of the airport after a 14-hour flight.
And speaking of flights, if you have the option, fly into Haneda Airport instead of Narita. Haneda is way closer to the central of Tokyo. We're talking about 30 to 40 minutes to the city versus taking it 2 to 3 times as long from Narita. And that's on a good day. After a long international flight, the last thing you want to be doing is dragging your luggage through multiple train transfers or sitting in traffic for an hour and a half. Haneda makes arrival faster and honestly just less stressful. It's a small change that can save you a lot of time and energy, especially if you're arriving jet lagged.
So flying into Haneda can definitely save you time, but the time you arrive matters too. And that brings us to tip number 3. Most trains in Tokyo, they stop running around midnight and don't start again until about 5 a.m. So if you land late and miss the last train, your only option is to wait it out at the airport, which is not ideal, or pay for an Uber.
And Ubers in Japan are definitely not cheap. A ride from Haneda to central Tokyo can cost anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 yen. We'll put the conversion on the screen for you. So try to land well before 10 p.m. to give yourself enough time to get through immigration and catch that train. We're going to get into the apps that you'll need in Japan in just a second, but first, let's talk about how to stay connected. You've got a few options when it comes to getting internet in Japan. First, you can use your international plan through your cell carrier, but honestly, that's always the most expensive option. When we first visited Japan, we rented a pocket Wi-Fi at the airport, and that works fine, but it was bulky and we had to carry it everywhere. And the lines to pick it up after that 14-hour flight was not it. So we found that using an eSIM was the best option. And that brings us to today's sponsor, Airlo. Landing in a new country can be stressful, but one way you can land with the peace of mind is making sure you're connected on your phone wherever you go.
Thankfully, those days of switching out physical SIM cards are behind us. Airlo is the first eSIM company that lets you buy digital SIM cards. You can stay connected with their data plans that are offered in over 200 countries and regions around the world, all through an app. Not to mention, it's affordable.
And right now they're offering you $3 off your first eSIM when you download Airlo from the link below and use our code TOGETHER3. We've been using Airlo since the very beginning of our full-time travel journey, and we love how reliable and easy it is to switch countries and activate without racking up roaming charges.
They even give you the option of choosing local, regional, or global SIMs, which is great for customizing your travel needs. So to stay connected on your next trip, download Airlo and use our code TOGETHER3.
All right, still with us because this next tip is an essential for getting around Tokyo.
Let's talk trains. They are by far the easiest ways to get around in Japan, and to make it even smoother, you're going to want to download the Suica card straight to your iPhone. Once it's set up, you can just tap and go. There's no need to open your wallet app every time, and to our surprise, you don't even need to take your phone out of sleep mode. As long as there's money on your Suica card, you're good. You can reload it instantly using your credit card or debit card, and you can use your Suica to pay for things like convenience stores, vending machines, and even some restaurants.
And since we're talking about paying for things, that brings us to a quick but important tip. Each person needs their own Suica card. You can share one across multiple people. Even kids need their own.
If you're not super tech savvy or you just don't want to deal with setting up on your phone right away, or you have an Android, you do have the option to buy a physical welcome Suica card at the airport. It works exactly like the mobile version.
And to continue with more apps that you'll definitely need a translation app. We use Google Translate most of the time, but Papago is a good alternative as well. Both apps give you the ability to download Japanese so that if internet service is an issue, you can still have access to translations.
A currency converter app is a must too, because yen prices, they're gonna look a little intimidating if you're not used to them, and doing the math in your head while you're standing at a register and you have people behind you waiting, that's not the way to go. That gives me anxiety just thinking about it. But anyway, iPhones, they have a currency converter app that's built into the calculator app now, so if you don't have a converter app, you can use that.
Then there's Google Maps. You'll be using this every single day, I promise you. It doesn't just help you get around, it tells you which train line to take, which platform, and even which car to stand in so that you're closer to the exit. PayKey is another one that we recently found out about. This one is great for scanning barcodes on products to check ingredients and things like that. It quickly translates everything into English for you.
And if you're planning activities, tours, or booking Shinkansen tickets, we're going to recommend that you use Klook. We tried booking our bullet train seats through the official Japan Rail app, and honestly, it was a headache. Klook makes it so much easier, it's intuitive. You'll just select your route, pick your seat, and then just pay.
This one isn't an app, but Tabelog is a website that can come in handy as well when finding restaurants in the area. The rating system is a little bit different though, like 3s on Tabelog are the same level as restaurants that are rated a 4.5 on Google.
Let's talk about how you're actually going to get around the country now. So the JR Pass, it gets advertised everywhere, and it used to be a no-brainer if you were traveling across Japan, but lately, not so much. The price increased a lot, and for most travelers, it's really just not the best value anymore.
For example, on our recent trip, we went from Tokyo to Osaka, then to Fujinomiya, then back to Tokyo. And it still worked out to be cheaper just to buy individual Shinkansen tickets than to pay for the JR Pass. Plus, just some tea on the JR Pass that they don't advertise. If you lose it, it's gone. You will just have to buy your ticket all over again, and trust me, I learned this the hard way and it was not fun. If you're not sure though, just enter your planned routes and compare the total regular ticket cost to the JR Pass price to see if the pass makes sense for your trip.
Since we're talking about long distance travel, let's break down what you actually need to know about riding the Shinkansen. Japan's Shinkansen bullet trains, they're fast, efficient, and honestly, they're a lot of fun. But there's a couple things you're gonna wanna keep in mind. Firstly, you should probably reserve your seat. It doesn't cost much more, and depending on the season, these trains can get packed. So having your seat locked in, it's going to give you the peace of mind that I'm sure that you want.
And if you're carrying big suitcases, you have to reserve a seat in the oversized baggage area, which is usually at the back of the train. The train conductors check the trains regularly, and if your bag isn't where it's supposed to be, they will kindly ask you to move it, meaning that you'll be cramped up at your seat with it. So for regular carry-ons and backpacks though, the overhead racks are fine. There's pretty much always enough space up there.
And while we're on the topic of oversized luggage, Japan might have one of the best train systems in the world, right? But it is not designed for travelers with massive suitcases. It's really not. Most itineraries are going to involve you hopping from city to city by train and lugging around a heavy checked bag. I promise you that's a decision you're going to regret really fast. We learned this the hard way on our first trip. We had 2 checked bags, a carry-on, backpack, and dragging all that around from city to city was so annoying. So learn from our mistake.
I don't know what we were thinking. And here's the thing that no one tells you. The elevators in Japan's subway stations aren't always where you think they'd be. Sometimes they're outside the station entrances or a block or 2 away, and trust us, the last thing you want to be doing after a long train ride is wandering around trying to find one, or worse, having to stop and ask someone for directions. Ask us how we know.
But hey, if you're worried about not having enough bag space for shopping, you can bring a collapsible duffel bag in your carry-on. We did that on our last trip to Japan, and it was such a game changer for us. You can save your shopping for towards the end of your trip, and then you can put all the things that you bought right in that duffel bag.
Because trust me, you're going to want to go shopping. Another option is to use luggage delivery service. You can ship your big bag ahead to your next hotel and explore hands-free in between. The bottom line is only bring what you're comfortable carrying upstairs or through crowded stations. If your bag is too heavy for that, then it's just too heavy, period.
Before we jump into the next tip, if this video has been helping you plan your next trip or saving you from making some of those mistakes that we did, tap that like button so more travelers can find this video, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
So this next tip, it can literally save you money. If you're planning to do any kind of shopping in Japan, bring your passport with you. For non-Japanese citizens, certain stores offer tax-free shopping, but only if you have your passport on you at the time of purchase.
The rules are going to be changing soon though, but for now, many stores still let you skip the 10% tax if you hit a minimum spend, and that's usually around 5,000 yen in a single store. When we did our custom ring making workshop, we forgot our passports and we missed out on a tax refund that was worth at least $50. So if you're buying something expensive like jewelry, some tech, clothes, whatever, it's definitely worth it to keep your passport on you just in case. So a question that we see all the time is, where should you stay in Tokyo? And honestly, as long as you're near a train station that's near the JR Yamanote line, it doesn't really matter as much. A good rule of thumb is to pick lodging that's less than a 10-minute walk from a subway station, and then you're gonna be solid.
You're going to be using trains a lot, so you might as well make it as accessible as possible. If you want to save a little money, try staying outside the busiest areas. You'll find cheaper hotels and Airbnbs without losing access to everything. We'll put some great neighborhoods to stay in on the screen for you. Now, you would think a country as high-tech as Japan would be completely cashless, right? Yeah, no, that's not exactly how it works. Despite all the vending machines and robot cafes, Japan still runs on cash in a lot of places. You'll find some big restaurants and stores accept cards, but a lot of smaller spots like local markets, food stalls, and restaurants are still cash only.
When you need to withdraw money, you should go to a 7-Eleven ATM. They're going to be everywhere. They work with international cards, and the fees there are usually lower than most other Japanese bank ATMs. And that brings us to the next tip. If you're from the US, we will always recommend opening a Charles Schwab investor checking account. That way, all your ATM fees get reimbursed to you at the end of the month.
But while we're still talking about 7-Eleven, if you haven't heard yet, 7-Eleven in Japan is next level. It's nothing like the underwhelming version we're used to in the States. Same goes for Lawson and Family Mart. They're all pretty great. These convenience stores have everything like full meals, snacks, drinks, desserts, travel essentials, everything you need. And if you're trying to eat affordably in Japan, you could absolutely do that, especially if you want to get breakfast or lunch there.
So these are some of our go-to favorites. You have onigiri and sandals. They taste amazing. So don't sleep on convenience stores in Japan. They are part of the experience. We'll put a list of some other things that we think you should try right on screen.
Now, after loading up on your snacks from 7-Eleven or grabbing street food on the go, you're probably wondering, where is the trash? This is something that surprises a lot of first-time visitors, us included.
Definitely.
You'll be out eating street food or grabbing drinks from vending machines, and then you realize you have nowhere to throw the trash away.
And even bathrooms, the majority of the time, they don't even have bins there either. And you may not even come across a trash bin in the train or subway station. It's because locals don't really eat while walking around. That's just how the culture is. Most people, they finish their food where they bought it, especially street food, and then they toss their trash there. So we recommend carrying a small plastic bag with you, especially on busy days out. That way you can hold on to your trash and toss it later when you get back to your hotel, or you do finally find a bin.
It's obviously working for them because Tokyo is surprisingly clean considering how busy it is. Like, New York City could never. Let's talk about Japanese etiquette so you don't accidentally come off rude or just feel out of place. We already touched on the eating and walking thing, but try to keep your voice down on the train. People don't really talk on public transportation. As you can imagine, phone calls are a big no.
So yeah, when you're on the trains, it's super quiet and honestly, it's kind of peaceful. But in general, Japanese people are very polite, but they can also be pretty reserved.
And for all my fellow introverts out there, you're going to love it. Everyone minds their own business and the whole vibe is just calm and respectful. So if you're wondering why you're not getting a lot of social interaction or small talk, don't take it personally. Oh, and one more thing while we're on the topic of etiquette, let's talk about tattoos. Some places, especially onsens, won't allow guests with visible tattoos to enter. If it's small, they'll often give you a patch to cover it up, but if you have a lot of tattoos, you might not be allowed to enter. To avoid the hassle, just look up tattoo-friendly onsens before you go. There are plenty out there, especially in more tourist-friendly areas. We'll put the one we visited up on the screen.
And now that we've got the etiquette and cultural norms down, you're going to be so far ahead of most first-time travelers. But let's also talk about ordering in restaurants, because there were definitely a few moments early on where we were confused. So in Japan, especially at ramen shops or fast food style restaurants, it's common to order from a vending style ticket machine before you sit down.
Basically, you'll walk in and instead of being seated, you'll go straight to a machine near the entrance. Then you'll look at the pictures, and we love Japan for this because they almost always have displays of what their food looks like before you order, so that comes in handy. And if you need to use their Translate app in this moment, here's your opportunity to do so. And then you'll pay right there and you'll get a printed ticket. Then you hand that ticket to the staff and then you find a seat and wait for them to bring out your food. It's easy. It feels a little weird at first, especially if you're used to table service, but you'll get used to it.
Let's talk about the best time to visit, because that is important too. It can make or break your whole experience. Japan has 4 seasons and each one offers something completely different.
Spring is popular for cherry blossoms, which is late March to early April, but it gets crowded very fast. Fall is great for the cooler weather and the beautiful foliage, and that seems to be the time that we go. And winter is ideal for snow festivals and onsens if you're heading up north. Summer has fireworks and festivals as well, but the humidity is not for the weak.
But whatever you do, you're going to want to avoid Golden Week. That happens in late April to early May, and it is a string of national holidays where everyone in Japan is traveling. So you're talking the trains, the hotels, theme parks, restaurants. Everything is packed and the prices go up as well.
So if your dates are flexible, plan around it and aim for shoulder seasons like mid-May or late September for fewer crowds and better deals.
And if you're going to take anything away from this video, let it be this: Japan is not going to be the place that you want to wing it last minute. People are planning their trips here months in advance and things book up fast, especially during the busy seasons that we were just talking about. We definitely learned this the hard way, that if you wait until you get there, you're probably going to miss out on some of those things that you really wanted to do. So once you get your dates locked in, start booking your accommodations and your top activities as soon as possible. It's going to save you stress and make sure you have a smooth experience.
And when planning your trip to Japan, it's easy to get caught up in hitting only the major cities, but Japan has a lot more to offer than just the obvious spots. Most time travelers stick to the golden route, which is Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. And don't get us wrong, they're amazing, but there's so much more to see.
On our second trip to Japan, we did revisit some golden route favorites since we were there with some friends who had never been, but we also wanted to spend some time in quieter areas like Fujinomiya and Oyama, and those gave us some incredible views of Mount Fuji.
We visited Nara as well, and it's only about an hour from Osaka, and it's home to wild free-roaming deer that casually walk the streets near ancient temples, and it gave us a whole different pace and vibe that we really appreciated.
So if you have the time, do not be afraid to go a little off the beaten path. You're gonna get a more relaxed experience, way less crowds, and honestly, some of our favorite memories were at places that were outside of the main route.
Before we wrap this up, here are a few quick underrated things that will make your trip a lot smoother.
Yes, you can drink the tap water in Japan. It's clean, safe, and totally fine for brushing your teeth. There's no need to stock up on bottled water unless you just want to be a little bougie.
Some public bathrooms don't have soap or hand dryers, especially in train stations or parks, so carrying a little hand sanitizer goes a long way.
Another thing, there is no tipping culture in Japan. Leaving a tip is actually going to be a little confusing or even uncomfortable for staff, so when you pay, just pay what's on the receipt. And good footwear is key. You will be doing so much walking in Japan. Most days we were clocking in 15K to 20K steps. So you want to have some sneakers that are going to be able to support that kind of mileage comfortably, or you will regret it.
Also, don't forget your power setup. It's smart to bring a universal adapter and a power bank. Trust me, you're going to be using your phone a lot here. Between navigating transits, translating menus, and capturing memories, your battery will drain faster than you think. So pack a reliable power bank to keep your phone charged throughout the day.
That's everything that we wish we knew before visiting Japan for the first time. So hopefully now you're gonna feel a lot more prepared, a lot less overwhelmed, and actually excited to enjoy your trip.
If this video helps you out, go ahead and give it a like. It helps us out as well. And if you've got any questions, drop them in the comment section.
We answer every single one.
Yeah. And if you've already been to Japan or have tips of your own, definitely share them below. It helps others out as well as us because we might learn a little something new as well.
And don't forget to subscribe and turn that bell notification on because we've got a lot more Japan content coming. Thank you for watching, and big thanks to Airlo for sponsoring this video. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.